Hi, all. Welcome. I'm just setting up the tech. There's been some interesting delays on this side to get going, but nonetheless, we're starting now. And so, welcome. It's always exactly when it happens that it's meant to happen. Welcome, everybody. I'm just going to breathe in and land and arrive because this is a big deal for me and I can't even believe I'm doing this. So here we are. But I've always known that this was coming. So here I am.
As I dance on the spiral through the passage of these rites, with the wisdom of a cycle and the mother blood that gives me life, in the waking of her daughter, in the burying of these bones, to the birthing waters, where I find myself reborn. I honor my lineage, as I honor my lineage, as I honor my
And I'm just going to drum to settle my system a bit.
as I dance on the spiral through the passage of these rites, with the wisdom of the cycle and the mother blood that gives me life, in the waking of her daughters, and the bearing of these bones, to the birthing waters, where I find myself reborn. I honor my lineage, I honor my lineage, as I honor my lineage, I honor my lineage, as I dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral, dance on the spiral.
So I'm just focusing on my heart center because that's what's like the most resistant right now. So as I breathe and drum, I just drum in whatever way feels good. So what's happening right now, why I need to do this, is my natural protectionist mechanisms are kicking in because not just in this lifetime, and I'm just going to stop the music right there, not just in this lifetime, but in many others, I have had a very challenging time being myself. Because to my chagrin in this lifetime, I've been assigned the job of sharing information with people in the past, and like every other soul trying to understand themselves in this journey of the human experience, I made a lot of mistakes and I messed a lot of things up. But that was always part of the journey. The earth is a place of dualities, night and day. And so this for me is breaking through something, not just a glass ceiling, but like a calcified cave of hiding who I've been in every existence in humanity ever. And it's interesting to me because I've never had this awareness. And sorry, I just realized YouTube's playing in the background, so I gotta mute that. The Zoom is on my headphones, but the YouTube's on the computer. Okay, so we're back. So yeah, I mean, I've been dreaming about this moment in time prophetically in my conscious awareness since 2021. But I know that this has been happening for a long, long time. Actually, no, that's not true. It started in 2019. I have been thinking and pondering these things my entire life. I told an acquaintance today that I've actually been studying philosophy since I was 4. I didn't know, like, you wouldn't consider it, but when you are raised in a religious environment that is really about studying the Bible, essentially what you're studying is philosophy. It's somebody's philosophy that we've taken it in as ultimate knowledge. But that's really what I'm here to talk about today. Everything in our existence. And I just need to go back and drum in my heart center because my nervous system is getting really, it's starting to pick up fight flight. I don't know who's watching already on the live. But what I'm going to say is going to disrupt a lot of things. And a lot of people are going to be upset with me. But here's the thing. It's the new Renaissance. It's the era of enlightenment again. You know, it happened in the 1700s before to evolve humanity, to evolve technology. And it's happening again in 2025. And it's been happening since the 2000s, actually. The Enlightenment has been accelerated since the 2000s. And how can you know that to be true? Well, every single scientific advancement, every new medical technology, all poetry, all forms of art, all forms of music, all of them are oracles. And that is all based on not just our physical DNA, but also our soul DNA. And I am fully channeling, and a lot of these awarenesses I've had since I was 14, but I have been suppressing them. I know that I have known them for a long time. I was awakened actually at 2. I believe my mother knew about it at 4. And my entire life I've been suppressing who I actually am. What this has resulted in is complex PTSD. It started actually after my awakening began, and when I was 14, just realizing that I didn't actually have anybody. I was alone in the world, and I was alone in the reality that I existed in because I saw so much more than everybody else. And unfortunately, I did not have tact. And so I was very abrasive in the way that I knew things and the way that I called people out on them showing their truth, their souls, and being able to see their souls. It also made me very compassionate because I understood that people were struggling because I was struggling. And there was so much that didn't make sense to me. I literally did not understand the world until I was 25. I didn't understand why people were mad at me. I didn't understand why I didn't understand so many things. And anytime that I was ready to step out and really see myself, it happened at various points, and it was always a transition point where I was leaving one relationship and going into being independent, and my awakening would happen, and it would be very scary because there were all these things that I was seeing, and they were horrendous because those were the people who were around me, narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths, because that's who I was in my family, and not because they're bad people, but because their literal wiring, because of the trauma in their brains, doesn't give them the opportunity to be anything more than survivalists. And there's only few people in our family that are not actually sociopaths. And what is a sociopath? And I know there's a proper DSM term for it that's been updated, but I'm going to use the common term. And I want to clarify that anything that I'm speaking about here is strictly from a scientific standpoint, and a diagnostic standpoint. It is not to imply the moral capacity, character, or ability, because it is proving that just like autism and many other physiological disorders that disrupt our normal patterning to experience the world outside of a fight, flight, freeze activation, is very challenging for our bodies. So I'm sorry, I skipped a train of thought there. So if some of that didn't make sense, I want to explain to you what's happening when that happens. I have learned that people can really influence your electromagnetic field. So I'm actually going to call it out right now. Somebody is actively trying to suppress my voice, and I am struggling. So just calling it out, I can feel the pressure releasing. So whoever you're watching, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you can come after me, you can attack me, and you have been attacking me since 2017. All of that. And I know exactly who you are, you three. I'm watching you. So I have been targeted because my awakening energetically, even though I did not have an understanding of my electromagnetic field, or anybody else's for that matter, I did not understand that I could be controlled by other people's desires. And so what was happening is every time I would awaken and start to find myself and try to hone my intuition and understand what was happening, there would be somebody that would step in, and whether it be a platonic relationship or a romantic relationship, and actively derail my ability to consciously understand myself, because their opinion of me continually would wipe out my consciousness, because they're accessing my subconscious. And that's what people do when they do mind control, when they do voodoo. They're actively making a choice to invade your electromagnetic field and disrupt your thinking pattern. How did I discover this? Actually, when I broke up with my last relationship, there were a lot of things, and I will talk about them from a neutral standpoint, from a physiological standpoint of how they were able to accomplish this instead of how it actually happened. And all of this is, it's a spiritual war. It's been on for a long time. And you can believe whatever you want. You can believe whatever you want. It doesn't matter, because your experience is your experience. How you read the world from your electromagnetic field and what you allow to influence your mind, whether it's conscious or unconscious, It's real. Don't want to believe it? Look at your reality. You know, in the United States, the white supremacists have actively suppressed the black people of not just America, but all the world. And they've done it through this system. You see, anybody that's Indian from India, Indio from North America, and black and Asian, we all have our connection to our electromagnetic field. It's a lot stronger than anybody who is white. And I'm saying white generically as in, you know, Caucasian, Anglo-Saxon, because even though the Scottish are white, they are of the original clans of the yellow people. And so they also have the Irish and the Scottish. They still have a lot of access to the wisdom of the electromagnetic field. And so this is what I'm here to talk about today, is to basically break down what the patriarchy is, how they got so powerful if all of humanity already has this technology as part of their biology. Why did we lose that wisdom, and why did it happen? And so I said earlier, every form of technology, every science and scientific discovery, every single form of art, including music, paint, every single form of art, anything that is a creation that did not exist in a previous generation, all of those are oracles. And why do I say that? Because they're all designed, and everything, every philosophy, everything that every human has ever done has been to try to explain our electromagnetic field, our existence. Now, what the patriarchal system did was it took the one peoples of all of the earth, the white peoples, and because they had chosen to be sovereign without God at a time where the species wasn't mature enough, developmentally, brain-wise, and emotionally, because you got to think, when we're 3 years old, our brain, under normal, healthy nurture circumstances, our brain, which is innate to our species, and just take out any dialogue. Like if you were to drop a pregnant woman in the jungle, how she raises her child in that jungle, that's the true nature. That's the true nature of a woman. We are wild mammals. We were never supposed to be dominated. Do you think the elephants need anybody to tell them what to do or how to live? Do you think the lions, tigers, all the predators know how to tell them how to live and whatnot? But even in the animal kingdoms, everybody or every creature respects themselves within themselves. Unless an animal is rabid or ill, it usually doesn't attack its own species. And so the white peoples of the land, very early in the establishment of the conscious human mammal, every single one had the opportunity to speak to the land, to be autonomous, to have the ability to live in community, but also have total sovereignty, to not need anyone or anything but the land. And what happens when we don't honor our nature? We start to lose our connection to source. And what is source? If you are breathing, if your heart is pumping, you have access to source. You carry source within you. What is source? It's electricity. It's light. You hear about light language and light workers. Sounds all dreamy. Guess what? We have a hard job ahead of us. Everybody wake up. Hike up those socks. If you've been selling spiritual coke, good luck to you. Because that's what selling being rich is. It is putting the bait and switch on our real life force. We think money's the thing that tells us or gives us survival or gives us security. That's a lie. Why? Because somebody else is required to give it to you, or somebody else is going to decide for you if you're worthy to own that, to have that. Right now, if you're in America, if you're a woman, if you're Black, if you're Latino, if you're anything but white or white-ish and have access to the powerful and the elite, who, by the way, carry this code in their DNA, one of oppression. I carry it in my DNA, just as I carry the India in me, and just as I carry the German in me, and just as I carry the Afro in me. Yeah, I carry all of it. I think the only one I don't carry is Asian, but I carry all of it. And that's that. I don't know yet. I probably do. Who knows? But the point is this. It is all in our DNA. But I am going to explain it to you what it means and why it works and how it started. So I already told you that the original sin, or the attachment from source and life force for the white peoples, was just simply that they accessed their autonomy before their physiology was mature enough. In order to gain back their understanding of the electromagnetic field, generations ago, we can't even know how far back it is. It's not recorded history, people. Like, we're here angry at each other for things choices survivalists made billions of years ago. And we continue to behave as though we haven't evolved or don't know better. And this is why, this is the time that all of those structures fall apart, because we know too much. We know more about ourselves, about quantum physics, the quantum field. The CIA has been studying mind control for years. They publish patents under like a professor name of how to use sound and beats, including and especially binaural beats, to dull your intuition. And there are a lot of people putting out healing frequencies and look to be light workers, and they're not. They're doing all the right things, but they're not anchoring and clearing their trauma. And so the types of energies that their trauma attracts, they could be consciously and wanting to do things, but if they don't understand how to read their cerebellum, they still are able to be influenced. Because this isn't I am an autonomous person and I'm the only one and I make choices and I do good things and I clear my energy and I do all these protections. But if you don't actually understand the intricacies of how your body works, if you are numb or if you have trouble feeling emotions, if you have trouble crying, that is your life force being suppressed, and that is suppressing your intuition. And why do you need your intuition? Well, because like I said at the beginning, we don't need anything. The earth supplies us everything. And so how do you control a population? How do you control an economy? Supply and demand. How do you accelerate the economy? You make the resource scarce. And when it comes to the biofuel that is the human electromagnetic field that is self-sustaining, self-fueling, self-healing. It is the most perfect machine under the sun. And so what do? You make it occult. You make it wrong. You make it an us and them scenario. Because the moment you do that, what ends up happening is en masse, people start to become deflated. Because we've heard manifestation, words matter, da 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 da. Okay, yes, all those things are true, but why? Why are they true? Well, science shows us that when we experience something, it's not the experience itself that informs how we feel it in the body. It's the programming or the understanding or the implicit memories of how we experienced a dynamic, a person, another electromagnetic field in our lives and in our past at a time when it was wiring. And so disrupting that maturity of the electromagnetic field early on in a child's development is what makes us break our natural protective barrier in our electromagnetic field. And this is why so many people with sexual trauma end up being perpetual victims for almost the entirety of their lives, or have to work really hard to actually live a life that meets their needs and respects them as an individual. Why? Because somebody stripped them of their natural energetic protections by invading their sexual tissues and organs that generate all of the electrical current. They're the ones that create such an opening in our receptors in our pineal gland. Do you think like the receptors, the crystals in our pineal gland are heighten our sensory experiences of the world? So that is true. If you are going into freeze, or your nervous system lives in freeze or fight for long enough, your nervous system is so overwhelmed. It's like shorting out an electrical system. And so from the sexual organs up to the pineal gland, the connections of the ovaries, all of the network of nervous tissue in the pelvic floor, all of the sensory tissues in the entirety that make up the pelvic floor, all of that is speaking to the pineal gland and the entirety of the brain. In women, because we have the ability to create life, we have access during our fertile window to a lot of data, light data. Through the womb, we have access to all that is. So basically, when you open that up, that sexuality, you're opening that awareness of life up to your ovaries and your testes, because what that's doing is activating that life force, and your brain is saying, okay, here's the environment, here are all the things that I need to make sure that I can become pregnant. And so all of these things can be activated for a natural function, or it can be activated as a part of a control tactic. And you can read history. There's no surprise that every single genocide, every single invasion from one country to a next always involves sexual assault. And it's not just of the women, it's also of the men, and obviously always the children. And why? Because Genghis Khan figured it out, and probably many before that the sexual organs, that kundalini chakra, that core root chakra or sacral chakra where our kundalini energy lives, which is our life force energy. And so if you go like this, you can actually feel how much energy is in this part in front of your body. And so put your hands out here and then slide them forward, and just slowly, whether you're a man or you have sexual organs of a man or a woman, just do this and you'll see. And then go through different parts of your body. Do you have any aches? You'll actually feel your electromagnetic field. And you don't want to put your hand right close to your skin. You want more space. Because the more space you give it, the more permission you are giving it to resonate and for you to feel the sensory of your own heart field. If you're breathing, if your heart is pumping, you're creating an electromagnetic field. It's not a cult. It's called being human, alive, a living soul, a living human. It's all the same thing. And so it's no surprise then that's the case. Okay, so I'm going to take a breath because this is really complex stuff, and I am channeling, and it is a lot of energy for me to remain focused and grounded and continue to channel. So I'm just going to play some music. And the next topic after the song is going to be, I'm going to dive right into it. How religion and philosophy have attempted to teach us about ourselves or have acted as manuals for society and humanity to help us understand our biology and our electromagnetic currents, which is our life force, and our soul, our souls. Yeah, see, I'm being blocked right now. Somebody wants to block me right now, so let me just clear here. And how that feels when somebody's blocking me is it feels like my face is being pulled, and then there's this sense of like rush and urgency to say what I want to say, and their intention is to make me look manic and ridiculous. And they successfully did this in September, and they did it again. They tried to do it again in December and November, but they did not succeed. And so, yeah. And thank you, by the way, for that activation in September to the number one target person that's targeting me, because without that, I would not have had the courage to walk away from your voodoo. And the funny thing is, people have been telling, or my perpetrators have been telling me the truth about them. And they do it in joking ways. And so it's interesting. So I'm actively being blocked, even if they just know that I'm showing myself on socials again. I've actually been being surveilled, and I've just been watching the patterns and what happens. And basically, if my post is friendly, then certain people don't watch it. And then if it is calling out something that unmasks these individuals, there is a very specific stream of people who watch this, who are all involved. And so, yeah, for those of you who have Instagram personal, Instagram professional lets you see who is watching your stories. So thank you very much. I've been able to block you. I appreciate you. But YouTube, this is all consumption. Basically, I just don't want to see your face. But you can watch my YouTube just fine. Okay, so I'm just going to take a breather and play the music. And here we go. Okay, so I'm going to press play. I don't know what's going to play, so let's go here. Shuffle that. So whatever needs to play, plays. You know, I've been using my tablet, and the moment that I went to go live, I can't, like, my screen is not very receptive, We think these things are not real, and part of the reason why I'm up here is because I consider myself a very self-aware person. I'm a somatic coach, have been for a while, and have been very attuned with my body my whole life, and yet they were able to disrupt who I am as a person. And it comes down to trust. I trusted them, and that's the only reason why.
Heartbeat pulses to the rhythm of freedom. Your smile presses on the soul of the world. Your voice an echo ever calling me to come. I know myself in this place unexplored. You've been a light in darkened places. Teach me what grace is, and to trust in the soul I've become. Oh, the magic of you and your heart's many faces, teaching to me my own wisdom. You said, bring your intensity, bring your shame, bring all of yourself to me. I have the space. Bring your beauty and bring your love. Bring all of yourself to me. You are already enough. See your courage in your deep surrender. Ever patient, meeting me where I am. Taught me to scream from the place my soul hurts. Planting my feet as I stand where I stand. Take my mind with a gentle turning, telling me I'm worthy. A hand on my back as I speak what I need. Oh, the magic of you, so wild and sturdy, showing the world what it means to be free. And you said, bring your intensity, bring your shame, bring all of yourself to me. I have the space. Bring your beauty and bring your love. Bring all of yourself to me. You are already enough. Ooh, 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 ooh. Already enough. Ooh, 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 ooh. Already enough, already enough, already enough. Bring your intensity. Bring your intensity. I want you to bring all of yourself to me. I want you to bring all of yourself to me, all of yourself to me, all of yourself to me. Bring me all of your sadness, your grief and your pain. Bring me all of your anger and all of your shame. I want all of you, I want every piece. I want you to bring all of yourself to me. I want you to bring all of yourself to me. I want you to bring all of yourself to me. I want you to bring all of yourself to me, all of yourself to me, all of yourself to me. Bring your intensity. Bring your shame. Bring all of yourself to me. I have the space. Bring your beauty and bring your love. Bring all of yourself to me. You are already enough. Ooh, 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 ooh. Already enough. Ooh, 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 ooh.
And I just want to say thank you to all of the beautiful souls who have shared their light and shared their art out in the world, because without you, I would not have made it here. You genuinely have been carrying me as I found myself. So thank you. And so right now, we're going to drop into an awareness that we all have, but I'm going to share it here so it creates perhaps a little bit of space for you to consider how you want to approach the world right now and how you want to receive what I'm sharing in all of my work. I still am sharing a lot of scientific data, or rather, information and practices and processes that scientific data can confirm or has proven or is yet to discover. And so all of this is available to you. Why is it coming on YouTube? Why is it coming on Instagram? Well, because it's not mine. I'm not going to do the same thing the patriarchs did and harness the wisdom and the knowledge, the light that belongs to all of us. And so earlier, I talked about all things explaining our existence, our technology as human beings, and what that means for our electromagnetic field, and how we harness it and don't harness it, and how it's abused. Spiritual abuse is something we don't talk about very often, but we're all being spiritually abused. What's spirituality? Well, think about it. Sorry, whoever's trying to mute my mouth and lock my jaw here, go away. You've had your airtime. Go, shoo. You didn't get it right, so bugger off. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And essentially, what's happening is I just discovered, it's amazing how your intuition works and how your body works. You intuit something, and then your body shows you what the thing that you're considering or testing or sussing out. And then when you see it and you feel it and it's undeniable, it becomes very, very clear who is blocking you, who is actually not an agent of light, and who is. And so this is really important, because sometimes it's not the people themselves that are not agents of light that show up and show themselves. It's actually who they associate themselves with. So I'm just going to clear my energy here, because there's a lot of energies coming in that I had a sense were coming through this channel, and I didn't, because there are things that appear to be true and real, and they prove themselves to work. We believe that people are a clean energy. But then when you learn to read your body and your energy, you get to learn the truth about other people's energetic signature. And it's not a conscious thing. The conscious actions and behaviors show you the truth about people energetically. But basically, this is just, and so this person is so strong that I actually have to physically guide my electromagnetic field so that it can get bigger and more protective, because this is very interesting. And so for me, this has been a very interesting journey to find my intuition and my personal power, because there are people who have been hiding themselves from me, or have been blocked and don't understand their old trauma, so they don't understand when entities actually come in and interfere with their electromagnetic field, even though all the things they are consciously doing is of the light. So it's not that these people are bad, it's just that they're being influenced. So this is why this work is really, really important. Okay, so I'm just going to take a breath here. Yeah, and that came up, if you noticed, was when I said, we cannot hold on to this knowledge for ourselves to sell it. But unfortunately, as coaches, those of us that are helping people with their spiritual growth in their human experience, we have also bought into the colonialist approach, which is that lack, that fear that you got to do it. And, a lot of us manage to make it through our trauma to a point where we're like, oh, this goes deeper. This isn't just about feeling good. This goes deeper. This is about our existence. This is about our humanity. This is about what we came to do at a soul level. And so again, let's go back, because this is when I got locked. What is our spirituality? It is the intangible experience. And by the way, if I get a little bit more aggressive, it's only because I am fighting so hard with people who are literally trying to gag me while I am on this live energetically. And once I speak what I speak, you'll understand why and how they are doing it. Look, my hand is even locked. Like I can't, like this is how much the energy in their field is. And like, look, I'm not trying to make this up. My hands are shaking. So I'm just going to call in that the only energies being around me right now, even though I see them, they must stay out of this bubble, because this is my space. I have a right to say what I'm going to say, and I have a right to own my electromagnetic technology, and y'all can get out of my bubble. You've been in here for a long time, making me think I'm crazy, making me think I'm bipolar, but really what's happening is you keep disrupting my thought patterns so I can continue to behave in exactly the way you want, until you can convince everybody that I'm crazy enough and that I've committed suicide, and that's how I get killed. Yeah, so I've said it. This has been their plan. They've been working on it all of 2024, specifically in February, because that's when I had conversations of accountability with individuals in my circle, professional and personal. And like magic, they all attacked at the same time. But it wasn't magic, it's coordination. So anyways, every physical thing has an intangible experience. Here it comes again. This is what they don't want you to know. Spirituality is not some magical thing, okay? It is the intangible thing of the material experience. You heard that snap? I snapped. I had this conversation in one of the last lives. It's the intangible to the physical experience, okay? And so what does that mean? It means, sorry, I'm just going to clear these names here because that's how they're still entering my energetic field here. Okay. And so this is interesting. I've never seen a live camera zoom in and out like that. Do you see? They're watching. I'm not doing that. They're watching. If you're on Instagram right now and you're watching the live, you will see my Instagram camera zooming in and out in the video. All I did was try to clear those individuals' names. Do you want me to say your name out loud? Or are you going to stop it? No? Okay. So anyways, what they're trying to do, because I'm looking at my Instagram camera, is they're trying to hypnotize me with the way that they're flashing the screen. This is really insane, but you can watch it live. Go on Instagram on the Somatic Oracle and you can see what's happening right now with my camera. I've never, ever seen this happen. I've done lives forever and this is happening right now. And so this is an attempt to get me zoned out because I keep clearing my energy. So now they're actively attacking my visual field, and I can actually, my eyesight changes when they are in my energetic field. And so when I look at the Zoom screen, I can see that the screen is not cleared. So somehow, some way, they're accessing my technology, and they have been for a long time. So I'm just going to close my eyes because clearly this is a lot stronger than me, and I'm clearly still figuring out how they're accessing me. Okay, so what if the divine feminine, and this is a struggle, guys. I've said this so easily, so quickly to other people. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go off camera because this Instagram is really, 1 second. Okay, so yeah, whoa, people are so powerful. Let's see how smoothly I can speak off camera. Mr. Musk, I see you. Okay, so, and y'all, this sounds crazy. It is crazy, but it's real because I'm living it. I've been living it. And no matter how hard I try, I can't stop it. It keeps happening. And every time I try to have a normal life and just focus on myself and just do my own thing, I'm constantly being dragged back. This is just not supposed to be my reality. I have a job to do here and I have to do it. And I'm going to tell you every step of the way how I'm being attacked so that you can see it when it's happening to you. Because there are a lot of people participating in the structures that are being controlled by the system, and they are helpless. They don't have a clue. And the worst part is they've completely lost themselves because they believe that that's who they truly are. And the thing is, the people that control the elite, the reason they're elite is because they know how to use this information. They're invested in it being a cult. So here we go. They want me to rant so that I don't tell you the real thing. Okay, so what if philosophy and religion have always been trying to explain our human existence, our electromagnetic field, and the technology that is the human body, along with the electronic signature that is the soul that makes it a living being? Hold on, I'm being blocked again. Every time somebody hears me speak, they access. But I won't be muted, and I won't be stopped, because this is not just my life and my son's life on the line. It is the entire world. It is every woman, every child, and every man that breathes and lives. And the worst part is the patriarchs think they have control over this, but the second they have nobody else to target, when they are left alone to destroy themselves in their own little mix of things with all their people that want to continue to remain the same, what will happen? It will implode, because power and control dynamics do not work for the human biology. It never has. Every civilization that has centralized power away from the people has curated its own demise. The Romans, the Inca, the Maya. Can't think of any more right now, but all of the ones that did not remain with spiritual autonomy and as intact, they all crumbled. They all imploded. And that's because we were never meant to have one train of thought. We are all the original AI. All of us. Think about it. What does AI do? It takes a database and it interprets the question that you're asking it to generate a new concept, a new expression. And how is it not just regurgitating the data? Well, you and I can go and decide we want to create a marketing plan. And we input data points. The data points that I put in and the data points that you put in, unique to our own businesses, are going to look different. They're going to look completely different. Why? Because we have different needs and we have different knowledge and experience. And we relate to the marketing process differently. So the way that I write a prompt and somebody else writes a prompt is going to look so different. But that's the reality of our lives today too. And then the AI model is going to spit out something completely new. It's going to spit out a new post. But if you input the same question multiple times, all of a sudden the AI is going to give you a very consistent answer. And so for the purposes of human beings being AI, all of our data points are our DNA from a physiological standpoint. And so if you think a computer that was programmed in 1970 is not going to have the same function as the computer programmed in 2025, it's just not going to work. And yet, it's like we're trying to write code for the existence of humanity in 2025 and beyond, using the computers and the understanding of the human computer and the model of pre-Christ era. Seriously, people, like, how are we not thinking about this? How are we letting people that don't even exist on this earth decide how we're going to live our lives? And this is what's been stolen from us, our power. You know, the founders of the Illuminati in Italy in the 1700s, their mission was to disseminate knowledge. And that sounds really beautiful, except knowledge was already available to us. So what knowledge was being disseminated? It was somebody's agenda or somebody's understanding of the human biology and the human technology. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. These people are trying really hard to distract me, and now just instead of attacking my body, they're just sending me their names. I'm going to start saying them out loud, people, if you want. So leave me alone. And why am I just not blasting people? Because it's not up to me. You have spiritual autonomy, and you have free will. Just because you don't use it or you think you don't, you're using it and you're not, actually, doesn't mean that I can go and behave the same way that everybody else has. Every single religious organization, every single institution, anybody that's been trained in power and control dynamics. And by the way, if you think that you're getting away from them, our entire society is founded on power and control dynamics. So literally, we all need to go back to the drawing board, to be accountable to our own feelings, actions, and emotions, and our own shadows and dark sides, the things we don't want to look at. Because until we do, we're going to continue to perpetuate our own demise as individuals and as a society. And guess what? I will have zero compassion for anybody when the time comes. Yeah, I just said that. And I hope you hear it in your soul. Okay? If this sounds fiery and loving at the same time, that's because it is. I am now a mother. And what does that mean? I understand the job that was assigned to women. When my son's father did the voodoo to get me pregnant, when, by the way, I had made it to the age of 40 or 39, without ever getting pregnant. And I wasn't always on birth control. But here I was on birth control. And so the voodoo he did, literal voodoo, he did to get me pregnant. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was what was going to happen. But that is the level of power these people have. They can disrupt your own intentions and make your biology do things that you have literally mastered your entire life. And now that I'm a mother, I understand what it means to be assigned somebody's seed, somebody's child. It's not that I don't matter. It's that all of a sudden I'm very important. Okay? And here's why. I'm not just the birthing bitch. Okay? Yeah, you heard that. I wondered why that word was in my mind. I understand now. It's what you call me. Wow, that's fun. Very clever. Okay, so interesting. Because as I channel, I discover things about my own life that are not being sent to me as my own experience, like explanation for my own experience. But I do often have these aha moments just like that in the moment because my body's picking up on what they're sending me still, the data they're sending me. And because they were in my electromagnetic field, they will never, ever be able to get away from me. I know their signature, and now I know the signature of their kind. And not just their kind, so like sociopaths, psychopaths, and narcissists, but the ones that are directly influencing them. They leave a signature. They leave an electromagnetic signature through their people, so I know everybody who's involved in their network now without ever meeting them. If they ever show themselves in my presence, I know who they are. And you can have this skill too. This is a language that we speak before we're born. This language starts the moment we're at the 3-month mark. We can start to sense the world around us outside of our mother's womb. And the moment that a woman is assigned a life to carry, if she feels powerful and she feels whole, it will activate love in her. And love is an emotion, which means it is the most powerful emotion. It has the most hertz at a vibrational level. You literally amplify all of the light that has ever been suppressed in your life. And so as a mother, I understand now that women were assigned to care for men. And women were assigned the job of perpetuating the species. Men became envious because they don't have a womb. And so they don't have the same access to light. They are not born divine the way a human with a womb is born divine. They are a form of divinity, but they are not a divinity like all women are. We can create life. And so this is the warning to all humanity without wombs attacking women. And this is to perk you up, just in case you're wondering. We don't need you. What I'm about to explain is the next level of human evolution. It explains Jesus and how Mary became pregnant without the need of a human man. Yeah, this is what we're talking about. And I'm not saying, let's not get it wrong, ladies. We are not going to become beasts like them because we do have the power to kill without even being physically present. Yeah, Don't do it. You will regret it in this lifetime and every other one after it. So the warning is to men, we don't need you. You can extinct yourselves and the human species will perpetuate itself. And to women, that if you use your power inappropriately, you will not be given a chance. This is a reckoning. This is Armageddon. I said that jokingly to my father in a text message when I told him I was publishing my work, because, doesn't exist when I'm literally dying and nobody comes to save me while I'm under mind control to be demised for the purpose of my money and simply because at a soul level they know who I am. Not a lot of money, but to a person has sold their soul for money, that's all they care about. That's all they see. Nothing, not even their child matters. They are soulless. They don't have life force of light. They have life. They are living and they are functioning, but they no longer are connected to the light that will perpetuate their life for as long as they can figure out how to heal their bodies. These people, when they reach the end of their human life, they will not ascend anywhere. They will not return anywhere because they have no soul. They literally will become dirt. And to my chagrin, I am repeating the things that have been taught by religion. But I'm going to explain why scientifically. And it's not a condemnation of me to you. It's a warning. Wake up. If you don't have a conflict when it comes to from a strictly continuing to grow your power, not a survivalist, I have no food and I need to steal this. No. It's, hey, if we take this contract and we fuck over these guys, this small business, we can actually earn 25% more revenue. Do they need that? No. Why do they do that? Because that is the only way for them to feel powerful. The rest of us, we got our electromagnetic field. We are powerful. We don't just need to feel powerful. We just need to feel our emotions. And when we feel our emotions, then we become powerful. And that's why suppressing your emotions, being told that you accessing higher levels of awareness is called mental illness, because it's hard to function when you are dysregulated. Why are you dysregulated? Because like any computer, you have to have the right hardware and the right power source to fuel the functions of the data. So when you open up your spiritual side and you don't know how to fuel your body or how to organize the thoughts, it literally short circuits your system, your motherboard, your brain and your body. Your brain runs your body. So what happens? All of a sudden you start to speak real fast and you get really excited because all of your pleasure centers are super stimulated, because this is like freedom to your cells and they know it. And they're like, take it in. And you're just scrambling to feel normal. So let's go back. What's the science behind this? You notice how easy it is for them to let me rant? Watch me go back to the science and I'll get stalled again. But no, I won't, because we're aware of it now. You witnessed it. You heard me go on about the philosophical piece, but the science is where I get blocked, because the science is where your power is. The science is what gives you permission to not buy into their power and control dynamics. Okay. What if, so let's go back to the basics. what fuels life? And what are the basic forms of our existence? There is matter and there is electricity. So just think everything that is matter can conduct electricity, can you could use it to harness or store electricity. Any type of matter can be a conductor and a capacitator. But biological matter versus physical matter has the ability to harness and utilize energy more efficiently than physical matter. Okay? So when we talk about biological matter and physical matter, when they conduct energy, physical matter is simply flowing the current. Unless it's a capacitor, it doesn't have the ability to hold it. It simply conducts it. And unless there's a complex mechanical system or like a wind turbine that it's harnessing some kind of external energy source, physical matter cannot generate additional energy or force. And then, so if you think about, I'm just going to grab my anatomy book 1 second. Okay, so and just so you know, I have endless reams of recordings. Lots of people have been given insight into my work because of the danger of me actually sharing this data with you. The danger, physical danger to my life. Okay, when they were doing the Instagram thing, they were trying to scare me. But then I called them on all their crap, and so what happens when you target the wild woman? You never know what she's gonna do. So when you gotta think, energy can be measured. A force can be measured. A function utilizes a force. And a force is a resource, but also is utilized in our bodies to transport resources. So when you think of biological matter, the pressure that you apply to the force, which is the electricity. Sorry, I'm just they're really blocking me, so that's why I grabbed the book, because it keeps me anchored. So the pressure is the measure, the electricity is the force, the function could be like transportation, and the resource could be oxygen. So this is, for example, our blood flow. So all of these functions in physical matter, you can move the force, you can measure the force you're moving, and you can have a function, but very few physical matter things without an external intelligence or without an externally curated structure cannot actually conduct a resource. Like if you were to put in an electrical current on a piece of metal, it would just conduct it, and there's nothing you can do. Like there's nothing you have to do. But if you do, like even the earth conducts energy. But when you introduce energy into biological matter, it then becomes its own self-sustained life force. And what's an example of this? Well, I'll tell you about my lotus flowers that I'm growing right now. So it goes, you have a seed. The seed is the shell. It is the physical matter and biological matter that conducts energy. And what's the difference? The shell of the seed protects the seed itself, which is the data that can sprout into a plant. The DNA, the plant DNA, is within that very, very seed of the plant. If it's a tree, the bark can only conduct, but it does not contain the biological matter that is designed to create life necessarily. It could, but at its core function, that's not how it was designed. So, just to give you an insight, the lotus flowers go into the water. The water is the life force. It's the electrical current that, or the energy that is feeding the DNA that is in the seed. And so once the water goes in this case, within 3 days, the seed has split. Life had been activated within that plant. It started to spit out some shoots. Some of those shoots were roots. Some of those shoots were stems. And now the little leaf tips are coming through. And so you can see that there's an evolution of the plant, of the matter being able to be infused with some form of energy that gives it that spark of life, that fuels it to life. And so now we're going to go back to, so that's biological matter, physical matter, and energy. And all of them work together. Biological matter holds or conducts more light per square footage than physical matter, which is why physical or biological matter can generate life. It's because it packs more punch. And so when it comes to, sorry, I just realized I don't have the Instagram microphone on me. Sorry, Instagram folks. I'm not sure anybody's going to watch on Instagram, but there it is anyways. So what if the divine feminine and the divine masculine are biological matter and physical matter? What if? And what if we know electricity is light? Sorry, I'm getting blocked again. Let me breathe. No, I'm just going to play a song. 1 second.
I'm the creator. Yo soy la madre, I'm the creator. Yo soy la reina, I am the maker. You can bow down now or bow down later. I don't need you to be my validator. I am the healer, la curandera. I'm starting fires, don't need madera. Deep as an ocean, light as a feather. Bring on the dragons, I am the slayer. Madre, madre, creator. I am madre, creator. Madre, madre, creator. Yo soy madre, creator.
feel waves of energy open my mind. It's obvious that my soul is awakening. Some days I feel everything all at once. I'm grounding myself to the earth, my feet on the ground, my head in the sky. I'm healing myself, I'm learning to fly. I'm letting all of my fears die. I see spirits and visions and deep premonitions. I'm living my life and I'm lifting my vibe, doing deep in the work to heal trauma inside. I'm writing it down, then I burn it with fire. I'm letting it go, I'm dissolving the Maya, connecting within to a loving desire. All of my standards, I'm raising them higher. I'm worthy of greatness, awaken the tiger. Love is the medicine. Healing happens when we learn to love all parts of ourselves. You are worthy of love. Give yourself that love. Love is the medicine. Love is the medicine. Higher the heavens. 11, 11. 11, 11. Love is the medicine. Higher the heavens. 11, 11. 11, 11.
Whoa, I am the light, I am the love, I am the eye of the Christ, I am the I am inside, I am a vibe, I am a peace, I am a dime, I'm so divine, loving my eyes, love on the rise, loving myself, loving my tribe, loving my breath, loving my life, you know the vibes, love is the medicine, love is a dance, love is a melody, love is a trance, wherever you land, love is so heavenly, love is a feeling, love is emotion, love is the flow, love is emotion, love is approaching, 11, 11, you know the timing, I'm in alignment, I'm in the silence, I'm in the dirt, I'm in the diamond, I'm in the mind and I'm ever near, no fear, I am love and I am here, cheers.
Love is the medicine. Higher the heavens. 11, 11. 11, 11. Love is the medicine. Higher the heavens. 11, 11. 11, 11. Love is the medicine. Higher the heavens. 11, 11. 11, 11. Love is the medicine. Higher the heavens. 11, 11. Love is the medicine. Healing happens when we learn to love all parts of ourselves. You are worthy of love. Give yourself that love. Love is the medicine. No more fairy. Love is the medicine. Let's go.
Okay. I'm just gonna look for a recording 1 second. It's not in here. So, the way that technology messes up on me is fascinating. And why do I insist on remaining live even though I'm struggling? Because I'm struggling because I'm not, like, so many people are invested in me not sharing this information. Last pass. And the thing is, they're all energy masters, so all the rest of us are royally screwed, but they've got it. This is a real struggle, people. Okay, maybe I'm just going to switch what's playing to the audio here. I'm just going to connect this to the Bluetooth. Excellent. Okay. So we'll just do it from here. No, okay. I'm going to try to speak it and see if I can actually finish it. Okay, so for those of you on YouTube who want a perfectly curated video, who want it all nice and tidy, I don't care. Get over it. Hear the message or don't. Okay? If you want to keep protecting yourself by hiding and looking at other people around you and trying to minimize them or mock them or just dismiss whatever they have to say because it's not curated and polished, well, you're setting your own trap, so there you go. Okay. So when it comes to the divine feminine and the divine masculine being biology and physics, how do I say that? So let's say this is just a mirror for our understanding. I'm not saying this is a literal translation. So use your discernment and feel into your body what feels true to you. Because I'm not here to tell you how to think. I'm here to get you to think for yourself and to wake up to the lies that you've been told about who you are and what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do and who you need and what you need and how you should live it. So in terms of the divine feminine, when we think about being able to create life, biology, being able to fuel life, to be self-sustaining and self-perpetuating. In that sense, biology it's kind of like a power plant, really. It generates its own power. It uses whatever resources are in its environment, and it generates its own power, and it can create life. So when we talk about physics, it has the ability to hold life, hold energy, but it can't create it. And so if you think about the womb and the absence of a womb in men and women, physiologically, we talk about ability to create and sustain self-sustaining life, or the ability to contain it. So men generate sperm throughout their entire lifetime. They literally have the ability to generate life force, but they don't have the physiology to contain it. And so that's to create it. They can fuel it. They can contain the electrical charge, the light that the sperm generates that sparks the life in the ovum, or that it's like the water in the lotus seed, right? It has the energy that it needs, but it is not, the water is not the plant. And so same thing with men and women. The light is the life force. It's the thing that gives us, fuels our cells to reproduce and create a new life. It's the spark of life. But the actual male reproductive system cannot generate or sustain life on its own. And so if strictly from a paralleling the explanation from a philosophical standpoint and the physiological standpoint, we have biology and physics as the divine feminine and divine masculine. And so how does that help us understand anything about ourselves? Well, think about it. The question has always been in colonialism and in the patriarchy It has been whether or not women and the masses have the ability or the capacity to be self-sustaining, self-governing, self-fulfilling, and how does that impact the community. Well, when you're trying to establish the foundations of society, sure, it sounds great to create more structures. But the thing is, if the structures don't fit the biology, then you're going to have a crumbling society. And so if philosophically the divine feminine and the divine masculine are, if we consider them as physics and biology, and light is the source that sparks all life, all of a sudden, and this is a way that humanity has tried to explain our existence, all of a sudden we can place different values on how we prioritize our behaviors. Because when it comes to biology now and our human existence, we don't just have matter that can create life. We also have access to light. And like I said, the male physiology wasn't born with the automatic access, but it still has access. Otherwise, the sperm would not spark life. But a man, the physiology of a man, opens that up differently. It utilizes it differently because a man doesn't have access to all that is. They have access to the light, but they don't have access to all that is the way women do in the womb, through the womb rather. And so what ends up happening from an electrical standpoint is men have a natural grounding wire in that they can never short circuit themselves in the same way that a woman can, from a strictly capacitator standpoint. And so what we all need to do as a humanity is become better capacitators so we don't short out our systems, and so that we can stop living in the dark about our own physiology, about our own capacity and our own ability to move forward. And so it feels like that's enough for today. It feels like that's enough to get everybody thinking differently. And I will be publishing something very soon that is a lot more coherent about this physiology and biology, strictly because I'm not being attacked while I'm speaking about it. And so I'm able to organize my thoughts. And so this has been a great training ground to anybody that's been doubting me throughout this this presentation, whether it's or this conversation, whether it's, now or in the future. I can feel you, and it's okay. Just so you know, you're safe here. It's really hard. I've been dismantling the world as I know it since I was 14, and it's very destabilizing. And it's very hurtful to start to see the truth about people around you. Because we all want to trust, right? But there's a point where we have to know what we know, and we can't defer to people's words. I've done it many times, and it always blows up in my face. And so this is why I'm here saying I'm the oracle. I do have the power to teach you how to get your soul back. And I have the power to teach you how to ascend into 5D from 3D and be able to read that without you shorting your system out. And so this is what I'm sharing here. I'm handing you back your own knowledge. You already know this. It's in your DNA. It's in your soul DNA. It's in your body DNA. That's where our cerebellum does. It reads our DNA. And the moment we become unconscious, it reads the DNA, and it also reads the DNA of the soul, because it's reading other people's electromagnetic fields when you're in their space. And it's also reading anything that your natural light and your access point to the source of light, which is whether it's your womb or whether in men it's the testes and the pineal gland. Pineal gland for everybody, but the entirety of the womb contains access to light, whereas in the male body, it's simply the testes, and not simply the testes, but if you think about square footage, period. I mean, if you have more antenna, you got a bigger range. You can get a better picture. That's all it is. So don't let anybody tell you that because you're a man, you're any less than. But why did I say the other warning? Because they're so invested in keeping us down. But the thing is, there's so many of us that are wild now and awakened. We're not domesticated anymore. What's going to happen? And not just women. There are so many men that are light workers because they figured out that their horniness is their spiritual need being overloaded and not just a sexual desire. They'll discover that they are gods too. You just have to work differently to access yours. And yours doesn't come with natural love. You have to cultivate that. Because love comes with nurture. And the female body's already designed to keep the species alive. The male body needs a little more access to the soul so that it doesn't become survivalist and a pure animal. Women can become pure animals too, because we can lose our soul too. Just because we have the equipment doesn't mean we got the right access, or the right code, or the right language to speak it. And so we can also cause harm. And so literally, you don't need any encampments. You don't need any traditions. You just need to understand what's happening to protect yourself. Your heart generates your electromagnetic field. Your arms help you create a visual to that field. As far as you can stretch out your arms, that's how far your field is. Okay? At the minimum. So don't let your field be leaky, because nobody needs you disrupting their nervous system, okay? I had this experience, a woman in my home, thank God bless her, or whoever bless her, source bless her, because, she's just another person that's been conditioned like the rest of us. But in her DNA, she carries the supremacy gene. And so therefore, her natural imprint is to enter a room and invade other people's energetic space to achieve what she wants. That's leaky energy if you're doing it unconsciously, but that's spiritual abuse if you're doing it consciously. And anybody that says, I have big energy, and doesn't do anything about it when they're around other people, you're an asshole. Plain and simple. You don't care if you take up other people's space. Plain and simple. And that's okay. But that's going to come to an end, and it's going to be very disruptive for you because you don't know how to harness your energy for yourself. That's an autopilot response. Just like my autopilot response was to let other people harness my energy. Okay? So if you have a mental illness, if your body and nervous system is dysregulated, drink lots of water, eat more food, get more sleep. Because your antenna is on. Everybody's antenna is heightened right now. So is it heightened for survival or is it heightened for productivity? Because everybody yelling and bitching about the other person and the other, y'all are just part of the problem. So look inside, regulate your system, feed your body, feed your mind, and wake up. Because yesterday was the start of Armageddon, and it's not how you think. It's not a big battle where everybody fights each other and our guys do your guys and da-da-da-da-da. No, every single establishment falls apart like if there's lightning. Why? Because it is so shocking, sudden, and you can't control it. Destruction is imminent. But it's not because we're violent or because the earth attacks us. It's already been warning us. It's been giving us warnings. All of those earthquakes and the wars, those are the warnings to the awakening that would dismantle all of those things. So we are rebuilding. We are rebuilding our humanity. We are rebuilding our society. Whether you think they're still intact or not, you have a choice to make henceforth to say, I am going to buy into that or I am not. And that doesn't mean we're reckless and anarchist either, because that's not the point. We don't want to be like them. Okay? And who are them? The animals without a soul. Harnessing our biofuel. Okay? I've accepted who I am. I am love, having a human experience, learning how to live love in a human body and not let it wipe me out so that I become abusive in my power. And that is the job we all have right now. So there will be people that look of the light, but trust yourself. Because even if they are light for others, they may not be the light you need. So I'm not telling you to believe in me. I'm telling you to believe in you. You've got this, folks.